Good evening and welcome to another unboxing. There's a parcel here from Everything Dinosaur, a few new additions for my collection in this box. A couple of these figures are quite new releases here in the UK from Howlong via Everything Dinosaur, of course. And the final figure is one that's actually been out for quite a long time now, but it's one that's been on my wish list for quite a long time, and it's one from PNSO. So in this box I've got two brands who are currently absolutely smashing it in terms of their output and the quality of the figures they are producing. We really are absolutely spoiled as collectors to have these two fantastic brands both producing models of a very similar kind of quality, and models which can also display very nicely together, although Howlong goods tend to be a little more brightly coloured. So of course, because it's from Everything Dinosaur, we do have our invoice, but we have 3 fact sheets in here too. And in the box itself, which is very nicely packed in here. Thank you very much, Everything Dinosaur. I shall remove these figures now. So first off, we have here is the Centrosaurus from PNSO, and I'm going to pop all these figures open on camera as well and have a look at those. And then we've got the Maiasaura, sorry, this is the Edmontosaurus, Howlong Good Edmontosaurus in this box. I can't remember which variant I ordered of these two. Finally, we do have the Maiasaura and its calf, and I'm really looking forward to this one because we haven't had a decent figure of this genus, which was of course the first dinosaur which found actual fossilised evidence for parental care of the young. Until then, dinosaurs have been considered to be somewhat reptilian, like crocodilian at best, and that they would largely leave their youngsters to it, that they would produce many, many eggs and simply hope that force of numbers would allow at least some of their offspring to survive. The fossils of Maiasaura showed that in some cases this was not the case, and that there was a fair degree of parental care that occurred after hatching of the chicks. Let's see which way up this foam is. Oh, here we go. Right, so first off, in this beautiful foam package here, we've got the calf. This absolute gorgeous little baby Maiasaura here in a sort of galloping, playful pose. Beautiful coloration on this one. I'm just going to pop this down here for a second while I get the adult out. So I think this is depicted as the mother and baby type of scene. So this is the colour I've gone for, is more of the purple ones. I couldn't honestly remember what I'd ordered, but that is a stunning hadrosaur figure. Howlong Good have really done Maiasaura justice, finally, with this figure. It's been chronically overlooked, and yeah, they've come along and done a fantastic job. I'd love to see them do an iguanodon. I'd love to see Howlong Goods take on iguanodon, which of course is one of my favourite dinosaurs, because this is just exceptional. Detailing on the beak, and I'm going to have to come back and have another look at that one. That's very, very good. This is a very strong start. I mean, I'm very selective with the figures I choose anyway. I can't buy loads and loads of figures and have a huge extensive collection. I do have to periodically thin things out a little bit. So to have to make these choices, it's always a bit of a tough one. But this one has been on the list for a long time. I've been greatly looking forward to it. Centrosaurus, which was of course known, there is a version of it called Monoclonius in the Beasts of the Mesozoic. That was found to be a baby Centrosaurus. That's this one. This is a prehistoric animal model, so I don't think these ones are in scale. I don't think they're the 1/35 scale. That's most of PNSO's figures are. So as usual with PNSO figures, you get a lovely accompanying booklet. That's all in English as well. There'll be artwork in this, and you get a poster as well, some artwork of the figure, which is absolutely gorgeous. It's nice that they give us these extra touches. I mean, I don't know how many people actually make any use of these extra goodies that are put in the packages for us, but good. So this one's more like a clamshell type version, rather than the foam. which is also in a little baggie in there as well. You recycle most of these things now. A lot of supermarkets will do recycling of plastics. So here she is. Yes, that's another absolutely astounding little figure. And it was quite interesting to see how it would compare to How Long Goods, because How Long Goods quality has increased and gone from strength to strength. And I would say that How Long Good are probably comparable. Having a look at this figure here, you know, I've got quite a lot of PNSO figures in my collection, but say How Long Good in terms of quality and paint apps and manufacturing standards are probably equally as good as PNSO at this stage. And of course they've got a load of other lovely figures coming out. There's Maiasaurus coming out. Can't wait for that one. It's going to be another big one. I've seen it in photographs next to the Edmontosaurus and it's absolutely gigantic. Of course, because they're to scale. So finally, obviously I've got PNSO's Edmontosaurus, but I wanted to see this smaller version because PNSO's is 135, but it's probably the maximum size that we can infer at the minute. I know there's been a research paper recently which says the Tyrannosaurus Rex could have got considerably larger than any known individual that we have. That's just statistics and averages. They've come to that conclusion. So here we are. Final one into package. Again, can't remember which variant I went for here. I don't think I'd have been disappointed with either of them. I think both would have been excellent because PNSO's paintwork is outstanding, and this is another outstanding sculpt, and they're really nailing it with these hadrosaurs. So down here, for comparison, I've got PNSO's almighty Edmontosaurus. Now these both claim to be 135 scale, but there was a hell of a lot of variation in size with dinosaurs, even in herds. Herd assemblies where they found you get adults of all different sizes, so this honestly is not beyond the realms of possibility. Of course this is a different species of Edmontosaurus. I can't remember which way around they are. I can't remember which one's Regalis and which one's an Ectons. I think this one's an Ectons and this one's Regalis. Probably wrong on that one. Really can't remember. But in terms of the sculptural detail of both of these figures, they're absolutely outstanding. And its detail is not quite so clear on How Long Goods because it's got all these beautiful colour patterns over the top as well. They're a little bit more, it's got very subtle patterning, this massive great PNSO figure. But you can see the detail, especially these big scales on the neck, a lot more easily as a consequence, whereas How Long Goods is a little more obscured by the paintwork, but you should be able to see that clearly in the light there. And look at the colours on this thing, they've really gone to town with it. And of course it's got the all important cloacal vent opening there as well. It's just, yes, you can really see the difference in the skull shape between these two as well. Yeah, it's quite obvious looking at them. They both feature the hoof on the front foot, which is known from the Dakota specimen. So one minor niggle I did have with this figure is that even bearing in mind that it's bearing the weight, is the left foot is considerably larger than the right foot. It's about twice the size, because the keratin wouldn't spread out that far. I just thought that was a bit of an odd oversight with the sculpt of this particular figure, but it really doesn't detract from the figure all that much. But this one appears to be perfectly proportioned in every way. Looks like a very convincing real animal. Lovely thick neck they've sculpted in here instead of having the graceful swan-like neck they used to depict them with. Really, really fantastic. It's got a really narrow tip to the tail, this one as well. So that's two absolutely beautiful figures. This really complements PNSO one there. Now let's have a look at this little Centrosaurus. So there's a lot of very muted tones and colours on this figure. Loads of lovely stud details in the skin. The scales, again, very realistic. Looking at it from a distance, the skin detailing is very convincing. Very bright orange eye, which pops quite nicely. It's an absolutely gorgeous little figure. I'm glad I've picked this one up. You know, it's unusual to find a decent depiction of Centrosaurus. That's what I've always been fond of ever since I had the Dino Riders when I was a little girl. I never had the monoclinius. I have got the Beasts of the Mesozoic monoclinius tribute. Now yes, this is a beautiful sculpt again. Everything's well fleshed, everything's well detailed. Pose is nice, the head's up and alert. Couldn't ask more from a dinosaur figure really. Very good. So this brings us on to the Maiasaura and calf. Now that is, photographs and video probably don't really do this justice. Again, you have to really have a look at this thing in hand and have a look to see the detailing that they've managed to squeeze into this tiny little figure, which as you can see is, you know, fit that in the palm of my hand there. It's just absolutely brilliant. I mean, the whole shape of the head and the body, you know, this is based on the known specimens of the chicks found in the nest of Maiasaura. The skin detailing, absolutely exceptional stuff from How Long Good here. We just seem to keep going from strength to strength. And the adult, the detailing on the face, that's what particularly captures you. That detailing that I've got on the face is really, really realistic. They've really brought this creature to life here. Fantastic stuff. And the colours as well, the way everything's blended. There's so many subtle tones going on here. We've got browns, we've got greens, we've got oranges, we've got blues, we've got purples. They've really thrown the colour chart at this figure and yet somehow managed to still make it look convincing and camouflaged and not too flashy. It's an absolute masterclass in how to make a dinosaur colourful without being too much so. Again, all important cloacal vent going on there. I don't know if the little one does. Probably does, because, yep, they wouldn't miss that out. Probably can't see that from there, but trust me, this is a fantastic pair of figures. Very, very well sculpted. It's nice to see that, you know, they've chosen slightly different colouring for the chicks compared to the adults, because that's often the case with birds. They often have different colour as chicks sort of do in the adult plumage. Absolutely amazing. All the hornets over the eyes and everything. No, these are fantastic. Brilliant figures. So if we take Eofauna's lovely T-Rex here as 135, quick comparison compared to How Long Good's Edmontosaurus here. As you can see, that's a little bit different compared to this massive one from PNSO, which is the absolute king of Edmontosaurus figures. It really is. That would give T-Rex something to think about, and would probably feed it for quite a long time as well. So again, it's probably not strictly to scale, but it's probably not actually too far off. The Centrosaurus here, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. And finally, Maiasaura, which is a smaller hadrosaur. As you can see, it's still not a small animal by any stretch. So I've got only one human figure I can compare, and she's a little bit overscaled. She's more like 132 figure rather than 135, so it's a little bit overscaled. I also have 135 small sports car, which is more of an accurate size comparison to Maiasaura here. And How Long Good's Edmontosaurus. And our Centrosaurus here. So none of these animals were small creatures by any stretch of the imagination. And I hope you've enjoyed having a quick look at them with me. I can't wait to sit and get a closer look at these myself, because they're absolutely gorgeous. And I hope to see you in the next video, which hopefully won't be too much longer, because there's quite a few of the Beasts of the Mesozoic figures coming through now from the new campaign, so the Cyberzoic one should follow fairly shortly afterwards. And I hope to see you all then.